When I was 17 years old, I was fighting this 40-year-old Filipino father of three. He's hitting me so hard, I'm hitting him back. He's like freaking lunging at me. And I'm thinking, okay, because he's just like a little bit shorter than me. But this guy can pack a punch and he has strength behind his hits. 40 years of strength acquisition against a 17-year-old that's only been exercising for about 3 years at the time. And so he's hitting me harder and he's hitting me harder. And the thing is, both of us were up for this. Both of us wanted to fight each other. And why were we doing this? It's because I was sparring. I was doing Muay Thai and I was going up against people who were 20, 30 years older than me. So that's the purpose of this video. Naturally optimizing my testosterone levels made me stronger than men 20 years older than me, and allowed me to get the aesthetic V-taper body because your androgen receptors are most concentrated in your upper body. And basically what an androgen receptor is, it is the acceptor of testosterone. And so if your androgen receptors are most concentrated in your upper body, if you have higher levels of testosterone for your androgen receptors to accept, then you're just going to have a bigger upper body. This is why my bench press was disproportionately strong compared to my squat, because I can bench 325 pounds and I can squat 405 pounds. And so my upper body is disproportionately strong simply because I have naturally optimized my testosterone levels. So I got the aesthetic V-taper body because of my androgen receptors, and it's proven that high testosterone levels target the androgen receptors and grow the muscle faster. So in this video, I'm going to show you and explain to you exactly how I increase my testosterone levels completely naturally, and I'm also going to warn you to look out for some things in this journey. So it goes without saying, people don't trust influencers nowadays. I mean, because so many of them just lie about being natural and they actually take steroids. I'm pretty sure the most recent one as of 2025, as of right now recording this video, was, I guess, an influencer name. I think his name was Hussein or something like that. Basically, he was lying about being natural and helping people, still making probably a positive change in the world, telling people to exercise. But the thing is, what's wrong about that is that he wasn't being completely transparent with his fans, with his community. And so I will be completely transparent with you. I am 100% natural, and maybe possibly the only competitive advantage I might have is that my mom, she just did a DNA test and she found out that she has a genetic that's basically called the actin 3 gene. And basically that means that she has more fast twitch muscle fibers, and fast twitch muscle fibers are known to carry more androgen receptors, meaning that the testosterone levels I do have, if I'm living a healthy lifestyle, if I'm optimizing my androgen receptors, which is another topic entirely, and optimizing my testosterone, then I can build the muscle and get the fast twitch muscle fibers faster because they carry more androgen receptors. And so with that being said, I don't want you to have these limiting beliefs. It's like, oh, okay, Daniel has this competitive advantage, whatever. No, because I have helped multiple of my friends. I'm telling you, at least three people, I've helped them get to a 225 bench press reliably. And even one of my friends got to a 250 pound bench press with an aesthetic V-taper after having a 4,000 score at McDonald's. Like, when you get the app and you buy stuff and you get points for buying stuff, he had a score of 4,000 and is still just lying around in whatever. And so they all believed, like I tell you this story because they all believed that they would be the exception. One of my friends got to a 300 pound bench press. He's still trying to get to a 315 pound bench press, but that's besides the point. They all believed that they were the exception. Even I did. Man. And I'll get to that. Even I believed that I would be the exception. So I'll get to that. So with that, everybody has these limiting beliefs, but for you, the first thing I want to implement in your paradigm is to actually just have a higher standard for yourself and stop comparing yourself to men that can only bench 145 pounds and have skinny arms, because those are the same guys that secretly just stop training hard because it feels uncomfortable. They say, oh, I know I don't squeeze out the last couple reps because it feels uncomfortable. What the fuck? How are you going to listen to these guys? Reason why I've had so much success when it came to these things, despite my story that I'm about to share with you right now, is because I didn't actually know what the actual standard was. I thought that everybody was like supposed to be 200 pounds lean when they started the gym, and now I'm 210 pounds pretty lean. Like this is picture right now that I'm showing you on the screen is me right now, my physique right now, and I'm in a cutting phase, and I bench 315, actually bench 325, and I've got a 405 squat, and I look aesthetic as fuck. And I can say this because I used to have problems with this. I believed I was the exception to the rule. I believed that I had shit genetics because I have gynecomastia, basically like breast tissue mass, because I had too much estrogen and not enough testosterone when I was a young boy. And so I have gynecomastia, and I thought my metabolism was just slow all my life. You can see a picture of me with my gelatinous, flabby skin. I had a very, very low body image, and I really thought that my genetics were the problems, that I just didn't have the metabolism for an actual high testosterone man that would. But the thing is, until I actually started training scientifically, eating clean, never eating junk food, and applying just all these hormonal optimization tips, these natural ways of increasing testosterone, until I actually started doing this, I actually thought I had shit genetics, but then I started to realize, shoot, I am actually blessed. And the thing is, you might have genetics of a Greek god, but you just don't know it because you're living a lifestyle that kills your testosterone. And the thing is, testosterone makes hard work feel fun. Testosterone makes training feel fun. Testosterone builds muscle faster and increases your mood. And so I thought I had shit genetics. But coming from the guy that actually fixed it and took this out of his mindset, what actually worked for me? I stopped thinking about my genetics. Because what I can't change is not worth thinking about. And this is this concept of stoicism. And if you think high testosterone monkey, he doesn't care what he actually just like can't control. Because what else is he going to do? Is he going to worry about things that he can't control his whole life? Or is he going to worry about the things that he can't control his whole life and actually just focus on? Because what you blame is what you give power to. Blame directs power. And so if you blame yourself, okay, maybe I don't have this advantage, so I'm just gonna disregard that. I'm going to focus on what I actually can do, and then in that way, I will be able to get to my goals faster because I'm not in the victim state. So, your testosterone unlocks the warrior genetics inside of you. Daniel, how do I increase my testosterone? Because I'm a little soy boy. People argue about whether or not it's easy to go from skinny to huge or from fat to shredded. I did both. And cutting fat feels mentally harder than gaining muscle. This is because when you optimize your testosterone like I have, then muscle comes faster. Not only because your mindset changes and just testosterone makes the muscle just come faster because it targets your androgen receptors in a way that works best. So, what is probably the most important thing to actually raise your baseline levels of testosterone so you can have all of these benefits to testosterone? Because obviously we want to have increased mood, we want to have just better, like faster progress so that we get excited for all of the progress we're making and it comes faster and we train harder. The first issue that we must solve, it comes with the understanding of aromatase. Aromatase is the enzyme that converts testosterone into estrogen, estradiol to be more specific. And it is carried in your fat tissue, in your adipose tissue. And so basically, if you have higher body fat percentage, if you are you just carry more fat on your body right now, then your testosterone levels will be lower. This is because the more fat you have, the more of your testosterone is converted into estrogen. And because as a man, you get most of your estrogen from your testosterone, then what happens? Your body's like, oh my God, I have way too much estrogen, so I must just decrease my testosterone because I get my estrogen from my testosterone. And so we need to decrease our body fat percentage to about 10 to 15%. That is the golden point to be. Anything lower than 10% is bad for your hormones, bad for your testosterone. And so we want to have less body fat because it's hard to get to there, but once you get to that 10 to 15% range, then your testosterone is upregulated and you're in a great state to actually build more muscle and do everything good like that. And I get it, man, I get it. It is so hard to get through this initial bit because the estrogen, like your hormones, influence your brain lots. And so you kind of have these like estrogen influence thoughts like, oh, I don't feel like training. Oh, I feel weak. Oh, no, it's too hard. I'm not going to push as hard as I can. And honestly, I can tell you what's more important, the thoughts you're having right now or the action you're taking because you don't want to feel like this anymore. And so train hard, because after you get to this 10 to 15% range for the first time, everything is different for the future. So once you've gotten this baseline of decreasing your body fat percentage to 10 to 15% body fat, and I can make a lot of videos about that, just make sure you are in a calorie deficit, because no matter if your metabolism is low, I'm just going to destroy this belief, because I needed to hear this, because I was the person that thought, oh, my metabolism is just slow. Yeah, sure, maybe your metabolism's slow, but that's because you're unhealthy. You're eating shit food. You're eating McDonald's. You're eating ultra processed seed oils that give your body more what's called just inflammation, just free radicals in your body that increase inflammation and make your health worse. And so it's hard right now. It's hard because you have just poor health. And your brain is just influenced by your estrogen levels from having just increased body fat. And so most important thing to increase your testosterone baseline is to get to 10 to 15% body fat. Inputs equal outputs. If you eat less than your body needs, if you train harder, expend more calories, then you will increase your testosterone because you have a lower body fat percentage. But how do you actually increase your testosterone once you've gotten to this stage? What are the best ways for you to actually increase your testosterone once you've gotten there? And you can implement these also now. I'm just saying that probably the biggest, like 80% task would be to decrease your body fat percentage. So how do you implement this? First of all, talk to beautiful women. There was a study that showed that men with competitive personalities, when they spoke to women that they thought were attractive, their salivary testosterone, so the testosterone in their saliva, increased by 14%. And that was the average, so it was variable. Some men with less competitive personalities, when it came to just women, ended up having less testosterone spikes, and then more competitive personalities ended up getting more testosterone spikes. And so why competitive personality? It's because testosterone exists for competition. That is the only reason why testosterone biologically exists. It exists to invigorate you so that you can win, so that you can overcome freaking the saber-toothed tiger or whatever. And basically, the more competitive you are as a man, the more you strive for your goals, the more you strive to have your health on point, is the more that your testosterone will increase. So talk to beautiful women and you'll get a testosterone increase by just an average is 14%. And so, and by the way, I'll just quickly tell a story. I think a lot of guys have this issue where they think that just women are scary. And the thing is, that's not true. And you should be talking to women not just like you talk to men, because we go through, different experiences, and sometimes depending, the woman, just like depending the man, you need to just make sure that you're being like considerate with their emotions. Like, I wouldn't talk to my friend, like my guy friend, like say, oh dude, you look fat, like bro, like put on some weight or something like that. And the thing is, that might sound mean, but the thing is, he'll say that to me and I'll laugh and I'll say, oh yeah, you're right, I should go on the cut. Thing is, you shouldn't say that to people who wouldn't be ready to hear that, because that's just mean. You need to be more nice with that. And so just think about it like this. Just like you talk to men throughout the day, just talk to women randomly throughout the day. It doesn't need to be like a crazy, weird thing. It's just be interactive with your community. Also, like, being social influences testosterone levels. People with lower testosterone levels typically tend to seclude themselves and end up having less experiences with people. And so if you go and act as if you were a high testosterone man and you go and surround yourself with more people, naturally your testosterone levels will increase. And so the next thing, which comes with that, like going outside and speaking to people, is to get sunlight. You see, I'm sitting outside right now, and even though it doesn't look super bright right now, there is still way more UV radiation coming at me than if I were inside. And the reason why sunlight is good is because it increases your vitamin D. And that's to an extent. So basically, your vitamin D facilitates your testosterone levels and also your growth hormone levels. But testosterone is what we're focusing on today. Sunlight will increase your vitamin D, and then it will increase your testosterone to a point. So you're not going to get like 10,000 nanograms per deciliter if you're spending like 46 hours in the sunlight. That's just not how it works. But it gets to a point. If you are lacking vitamin D, then you need to get sunlight, especially like, let's say if you live in a colder place, a more darker place, then you would probably supplement with vitamin D3 plus K2 for better absorption. And so you would be able to increase your testosterone levels like that. The other thing is saturated fats. You want to have a lot of saturated fats because saturated fats, cholesterol, is the building block of testosterone and your steroid hormones. And so it's important to understand that saturated fat is healthy. The reason why many doctors might say that it is unhealthy, or the reason why your parents might think that, is because saturated fats get denatured when you eat seed oils. And seed oils aren't necessarily bad, but the thing is, when they get heated up, because they are more unsaturated compounds and not all of their carbon bonds are linked completely, and just, I can get all sciencey with that, but basically all you need to understand is that when they're heated up, they release more compounds called free radicals, which are like net negative or net positive charges into your body, and then that causes more inflammation and leads to denaturing of the good saturated fat and calcification of your arteries, so your arteries get clogged. And so avoiding seed oils means don't have things that are fried in like canola oil or fried in sunflower seed oil, things like that. And it's a spectrum. So like peanut oil is not as bad as like canola oil, but it's just a spectrum. Like you want to avoid them pretty much, and you want to stick to things like butter, things like ghee, things like olive oil is like a better one on the spectrum, avocado oil, things like that, coconut oil. I don't know if I said that. You want to stick to those things, and you want to avoid the seed oils. And like, let's say an example of this would be like when you go out to eat, because you're still going to go out to eat even if you're eating healthy. Like sometimes you just want to have that quality of life. You would avoid certain things. So what I tell my clients is that you want to avoid things that would be fried, that have to be fried. I'm talking fried chicken. I'm talking French fries, because there is no way that in the commercial way now that they would use saturated fats like tallow, like beef tallow, like they used to use, because not everybody has the dietary preferences. Some people are vegan, and so they just make it so that it's not the business's fault. It's just that sometimes at one point in the history, somebody complained because it was against their religion or something like that, and that's fine. We can't blame them for that. And so now they use seed oils to fry basically everything. And so yeah, just keep in mind, don't have like French fries when you go out if you go out to eat, and just avoid seed oils because they denature your saturated fats, and that's bad for your testosterone. Next up is zinc plus copper balance. I made the mistake of only having zinc a while ago, and I had extremely elevated iron levels. I'm talking 200% iron levels, and that's because my copper was depleted and all sciencey shit. Basically, if you have too much zinc and not enough copper, then you end up absorbing way more iron than you need to. So anyways, have your zinc plus copper balance, and you can have it after your workouts if you want to optimize the testosterone boost. And basically it's good for fertility, it's good for your hormonal health, and all of that's good. Next thing is, and it kind of goes with the story I told earlier about like the martial arts, is that competition we talked about, it like testosterone exists for competition. And so a way that you can do this is you can just do martial arts like Muay Thai, like boxing, things like that just get your blood going, because when you get punched in the face for the first time, something happens to you, you get freaking scared and jittery, and in like something happens where you just like are like go time. And it's just a really interesting experience. And so next thing I want to tell you is, you know how we mentioned that cholesterol is the building block for the steroid hormones, like testosterone? But cortisol, which is like your long-term stress hormone, is also a steroid hormone. And so people don't always think about this, but the thing is, cholesterol builds cortisol and also testosterone. And so if you are stressed, like long-term stress for a prolonged period of time, and you do not feel at peace, then what's going to happen? Basically, all of your cholesterol is going to be used for your cortisol, and you're not going to have enough left for your testosterone. And it becomes a just negative loop where you feel more stressed because things start to spiral in your life because you don't have as much testosterone levels to facilitate your mood and things like that. And it's just not a good situation to be in. So how can you decrease your stress? You can meditate. You can, and by the way, the way you meditate, and don't sleep on meditation. It's so important. is basically you open your phone, you go to the clock app, and you set a timer for a certain amount of time. Can be 30 seconds if you need it, 3 minutes, or even 20 minutes. I like to do 20 minutes. It just grounds me, but I've been doing it for a couple years, and so that's different. And basically, you just focus on your breath. If you get a thought and you realize you're not focusing on your breath anymore, that is good. That is good. And basically, you want to redirect your attention to the breath, and then that's like kind of helps with your mindfulness. And so then the more you do this throughout the day, you're going to catch thoughts that would be bothering you in your head, but you're not going to let them spiral and overthink, because you're meditating and you're going to catch the thought before it spirals into something that gets you overwhelmed. Because you'll notice when you're meditating, man, I just had this thought and I feel angry right now. I feel scared. I feel sad. But the thing is, I've just been sitting here. And so all the suffering that I have experienced has just been in my mind because my outside environment hasn't changed. And so that's why meditation is so important, because it just helps you realize that you have a more peaceful state of mind and all suffering is within. And so if you get less stressed, that's great. Meditation's good. You can also journal. Journaling is great because often we consume so much content and we don't actually let our brains think. So think about that. That's actually crazy. We have so much going on in our head in the background, but we're never letting ourselves actually think about what's important or think about the things that are actually bothering us until they get pushed off. And it's kind of like when we played the video games beforehand, like when we used to play the video games, if you didn't do the quest that you had next, it would just stay there until you actually went and did the quest. And so you need to go do the quest. And the more you distract yourself from that task of actually like processing the things that are in your head, the longer that you're going to just be stuck in the exact position that you are right now. And you don't want to be stuck there for long, don't you? And so just write, journaling, just thinking of it as like kind of like a thought vomit that no one's ever going to read except for you. That has helped me the best. And just write, think about all the things, think about what you can actually change in your life, the action steps that you can take. And that will help you have a more peace of mind and clarity of direction for your goals. And that will allow you to be a more competitive man. And we know testosterone exists for competition. And so anything we do to become more competitive will increase our testosterone, make our mood better, and our muscles bigger. So avoid endocrine disruptors. That's the next thing. That's the 8th thing I'm talking about. So what an endocrine disruptor is there's many, many different kinds, but that's for another video. Today, I'll just focus on estrogenics. An estrogenic is a compound that when touched, when consumed, when you're just around it, it mimics estrogen within the body. And we know that if our body thinks we have elevated estrogen, then our testosterone is going to be lowered. We know this because of the body fat, right? And so if we interfere with our estrogen signaling by having these estrogenic compounds introduced into our body, these foreign compounds, then our testosterone is going to decrease and things are going to feel harder. Weight loss is going to feel harder. Muscle gaining is going to feel harder. And basically, easy way to do this, avoid things with plastic. Don't heat containers of plastic. Don't like you know how you have in your microwave the little plastic thing that covers the food so things don't get dirty. I don't even have that because it actually has been shown to like shed a bit of plastic when you heat stuff up. My microwave doesn't even get dirty that often, and when it does, we just freaking clean it. And so get rid of like the plastics in your life because they're terrible. They bioaccumulate in your body and it actually just influences your fertility very, very negatively, and you don't want that. Next thing is just like don't touch receipts. Receipts are coated in these estrogenics called bisphenol A, like BPA. And that's a type of estrogenic that will mimic estrogen within the body and decrease your androgen receptor sensitivity. So decrease how much testosterone is actually being accepted by your body. And that is not a good situation to be in. So avoid plastics. That is the biggest thing. Avoid plastics, and even think about it like this. A lot of your clothes is made with polyester, made with nylon, and that's touching your body, especially the stretchy stuff, like your boxers. They might not be 100% cotton like mine are. They might be made of plastic, and that's touching your balls, and that's destroying your testosterone levels because your testosterone is made in your balls. And so think about how much this is actually messing up your hormonal health and long-term health. This is why when people get older, they end up aging like really, really poorly. They end up not being able to build any muscle when they're 40 years old, it's because they did not take care of their hormonal health and set themselves up for life. And all of these compounds, these chemicals have actually accumulated in their body, which is horrible. And you don't want to set yourself up for failure, because the way you create self-love is through doing things not for you right now, not for you, doing things for your future self, because both of you are completely different people. And if you do things for your future self, that is how you create self-love, because eventually you get to the point where I am at and you look back and you're like, wow, I'm so grateful that you put in the work. Because at the time I wasn't doing it for me. I was doing it for future me. And now I'm doing it, all this thing, this channel that you're seeing before you. Now I'm doing it for the world. I realized that I couldn't keep this up if I was doing this for me forever, and it just felt empty for a while. But then I realized that I can inspire people. I can help people with this knowledge that I've applied, that have increased my testosterone levels, that have allowed me to be a more competitive young man and live life to the fullest. And I would love to see you guys live your life to the fullest, because I needed this when I was younger. I needed somebody to put me on the right path. I needed somebody to inspire me. So that is why I do this. And so the last little tip I will give you is creatine. What the heck is creatine? Creatine is the most researched supplement for muscle building. It actually was first researched as a neuro supplement, so it actually makes you smarter, because what it does is just it increases your energy availability. And basically what that means is that all of the cells in your body, after a saturation phase, so you have 20 grams of creatine every single day. It's very relatively inexpensive, like very, very inexpensive. You have 20 grams every day for 7 days, and then a maintenance of 2 to 3 grams every single day for the rest of your life. Or if you're 200 pounds or more like me, then have the full 5 gram scoop every single day. It is super inexpensive. I bought it one time and did that, what I just exactly told you, and it lasted for about a year and a half. I recommend the Allmax pharmaceutical grade creatine, and what it will do is it will increase your dihydrotestosterone, which is 3 to 5 times more potent than testosterone, and it will also just increase your muscle growth, increase your energy output, and give you an extra rep in the gym. Incredible. Incredible. It will also, when you wake up in the morning, if you haven't actually slept that good, if you haven't had that much sleep, you will actually feel much better when you're taking creatine. And it's very natural. It's not the kind of thing that's like, it's not steroids. It's the most researched supplement that everybody should be taking when they're trying to optimize their health. Everybody should be taking this. It also can just help, especially if for people who are vegetarians. I wouldn't recommend watching my channel if you're vegetarian, because honestly, like, that's not good for your hormones, to be honest. And it's just like, I understand, like, it could be religious reasons, and for that, very noble, and I respect that. And also, if it's for ethical reasons, you do realize that plants emit screams, like they scream when you cut them, and the juice is blood from the plants, because they are living creatures also. And so, anyways, the way to live is to absorb the life force energy of anything around us. And when we die, eventually worms are gonna, sorry, this is gonna be a little bit like gross. It might trigger you if you're a weak person. But anyways, when we die, we're gonna go back to the soil. We're gonna go back to the soil. We're gonna go back to the land. The cows are gonna eat the grass that we have fed, and it's just a cycle. And so that's the beauty of this. And honestly, God has put us on this world, has given the things in our hearts for us to pursue, and allowed us, given us this opportunity to do good with what he's given us. And so, of course, we only need more love in the world. And with that, when you increase your testosterone levels, don't get freaking roid rage, because testosterone and your hormones really influence your mindset. And so it is extremely important to become the right kind of man, because, with great power comes great responsibility, Peter Parker, So you need to make sure that with this strength, you're not just like randomly fighting people. You're using the energy for good with life. Because my men that I am inspiring, we are meant to be good men. We are meant to live as men of integrity, live as men that are good for our community. We are meant to live to what God has placed in our hearts. And God did not place anything of pain in our hearts, even though we have like the inclination to do bad, but that is because we are imperfect, because we are humans. And no matter what, we will never be as perfect as God. And so when I tell you, just live as close as possible to the man that God calls you to be in your heart, and do your best with this. And so just to destroy some limiting beliefs for you, when I was increasing my testosterone, when I was doing all of these things, when I was making sure that I was training scientifically, I actually increased my bench press 100 pounds in 7 months, from 225 to 325, after I'd been stuck at 225 bench press for one entire year. And so think about that. I was stuck at 225 bench press for one full year, and then 7 months plus 100 pounds at 325 bench press. And then also with my squat, I gained like 150 pounds or something like that. Like now I'm at 405 squat. And so that is my story. I thought I had shit genetics, but I just needed to increase my testosterone. And this has basically been a full guide to increasing your testosterone. And really send this to a friend who needs it. Don't be mean about it or anything. I'm honestly just trying to make a difference in the world, because people need this kind of education. And when you get all sciencey, it's kind of hard to actually help people, because there's just a difference in vocabulary. And so I basically just need to explain this in a way that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Because that lacks a lot in the world. And so I'm really trying to make an impact, really trying to inspire. And so any support from you is actually genuinely, completely appreciated, because this isn't about me. This is about every man that we're going to inspire, and all the men that we are going to create of integrity, of strength, that will be able to inspire the rest of their communities. And so that's the ultimate goal of this. To recap, talk to beautiful women, get sunlight, saturated fat, avoid seed oils, zinc plus copper balance, martial arts or competition basically, and avoid long-term stress. You can meditate, avoid endocrine disruptors, and like endocrine disruptors are like the estrogenics, and then there's creatine. And the last thing, most important thing, the thing I quickly said to preface this, is decrease your body fat percentage. Train hard. Do cardio to expend more calories. Eat healthy. And like eat only things that you could picture in your hand. Less processed things. And you will have less aromatase levels and basically more testosterone, because you have less estrogen levels. And so that is the recap. Do things that a healthy man would do. That is the overarching theme. Do things that a healthy man would do. A healthy man would go outside, end up getting sunlight literally just randomly, speaking to people because he is just a part of his community and wants to show love to his community. Take care of your health. Be competitive, because God placed you on this world to conquer. And you should be solid. That's really all you need to worry about. And so this is a lot of information, and that is exactly why I have a one-to-one coaching program in the description. You can book a call with me to see if you're the right fit. If you're not a right fit, I will literally be honest with you and say, my guy, I don't think you're a right fit for the program, and I won't explain to you my offer. And yeah, basically book a call with me. I can learn about your situation, and with all of that together, I can see if we're a good fit to work together, and I can help you increase your testosterone, increase your bench press, get you to a 225 bench press or a 315 bench press. And yeah, if you're interested in something like that, you can book a call with me, link in description, and we'll see if you're a good fit. So that is how you increase your testosterone levels, and go get after it. Remember, you were built to conquer. Stay inspired, bro.